We are counting down the 6 worst U.S. packaged meats you should never buy. From freezer staples loaded with hidden additives to everyday sandwich fillers pushed far from real meat, this ranking exposes how convenience comes at the cost of sodium, preservatives, and health risks, sometimes in ways you would never expect. Which processed staple tops the danger list? Let us begin with number 6. Frozen breaded chicken patties and nuggets look like a quick fix for busy nights. But the real story is buried in the fine print. Take a look at the ingredient list. Wheat flour, starches, and oils crowd the top, while actual chicken comes in much lower than you would expect. In most leading brands, only about 1/3 to 1/2 of the product is chicken. The rest is batter, water, and frying oil. That breading acts like a sponge, soaking up oil during the factory partial fry, so nearly half the calories come from fat. Sodium levels are another surprise. A small serving can deliver 450 to 560 milligrams, more than 7 times what you would get from the same amount of plain chicken breast. Additives. Like gums and stabilizers keep everything crisp and uniform after freezing, but they are a world away from whole roasted chicken. For a healthier swap, start with real chicken breasts or thighs, coat them lightly, and bake or air fry at home. You will get more protein, far less sodium, and skip the oil-soaked coating entirely. Canned meats like Spam and Vienna sausages have carved out a place on grocery shelves for decades, promising convenience and a shelf life that stretches across years. The secret behind this longevity is no mystery: a potent blend of salt, fat, and chemical preservatives including sodium nitrite. A single 2-ounce serving often carries more than 700 milligrams of sodium, nearly 1/3 of an adult's daily recommended limit, and it also contains significant saturated fat. Ingredient lists tend to be vague, with generic terms like spices and flavorings masking the true makeup. The texture is unmistakable, a uniform compact loaf or cylinder, far removed from the look and feel of real muscle meat. While these products might seem like practical pantry staples for emergencies, their heavy processing and high additive load make them a poor choice for regular meals. For a shelf-stable protein, canned tuna or salmon packed in water offers a far cleaner alternative with fewer additives and a much simpler ingredient list. Packaged deli turkey slices offer a healthy image, but the reality is more complicated. Most brands inject the meat with a brine solution, a mix of water, salt, and phosphates, before it ever reaches the slicer. This process can add up to 15% extra weight, not from turkey, but from water held in place by chemical agents. Phosphates and additives like carrageenan or modified food starch are common ingredients, working together to bind moisture and create a uniform texture. These stabilizers also help extend shelf life and keep each slice looking picture perfect in the package. The sodium content climbs quickly as a result. Just 2 or 3 slices often carry more than 400 milligrams, about 1/5 of the recommended daily limit for adults. Label phrases like contains up to X% of a solution or long lists of gums and starches are a clear sign you are not getting pure turkey. In contrast, fresh roasted turkey breast contains only the meat, a pinch of salt, and maybe some herbs, no brine, no stabilizers, and a fraction of the sodium. The difference is clear. What looks like a simple sandwich filler is actually a product engineered for consistency and shelf life, not for freshness or simplicity. Bologna, especially from brands like Oscar Mayer and the supermarket value lines, is less a slice of meat and more a science experiment in a wrapper. The ingredient list reads like a chemistry set: fine ground beef and pork trimmings, water, modified food starch, corn syrup, and soy protein concentrate. Actual meat comes second to a parade of binders and fillers, all whipped together into a uniform paste. That's how bologna gets its signature rubbery texture. Emulsification turns scraps and fat into a perfectly smooth pink slab that never looks or feels like real muscle meat. In many store brands, modified starch appears high in the ingredient order, signaling that fillers make up a sizable share of each slice. Artificial flavorings and smoke are added to mimic the taste of traditional cold cuts, while preservatives ensure every package tastes exactly the same, week after week. The numbers tell the rest of the story. Bologna often delivers more fat and sodium per ounce than whole muscle deli ham or turkey, with protein levels diluted by all those starches. A single slice can clock in at 300 milligrams of sodium or more. For a cleaner sandwich, skip the emulsified loaf and opt for freshly sliced roast meats with a short, simple ingredient list. That's the difference between eating real food and settling for a processed imitation. Hot dogs from America's biggest brands are built on a foundation few shoppers recognize. The ingredient list often begins with a phrase that stands out: mechanically separated meat. This is not finely chopped steak or pork loin. Instead, it is a paste created by forcing bones and scraps through high-pressure machines, scraping every last bit of edible tissue from carcasses. The result is a smooth, uniform base that forms the backbone of many supermarket franks. Federal labeling rules require brands to declare mechanically separated chicken, turkey, or pork right on the package when used. For bargain hot dogs, this can make up a significant share of the product. The next layer comes from chemistry. Sodium nitrite, a curing salt, is added to lock in the familiar pink color and keep bacteria at bay. Nitrite also delivers that signature cured flavor, but its presence is more than cosmetic. Ingredient panels name it directly, cured with sodium nitrite, making it easy to spot for those who know what to look for. Alongside nitrite, sugar in the form of dextrose or corn syrup is almost always present. This touch of sweetness balances the salt and rounds out the flavor, but it also signals how far hot dogs have drifted from simple meat and spices. The rest of the list reads like a science project. Modified food starch, carrageenan, and phosphates are there to bind water, stabilize texture, and keep costs down. Some brands stretch the meat with soy protein or add flavorings to mimic smoke and spice. It is not unusual to find 10 or more ingredients before the list ends. For anyone scanning labels, the red flags are clear, mechanically separated, sodium nitrite, and long ingredient lists packed with fillers and stabilizers. For a safer alternative, fresh sausages from a butcher, made with whole cuts and a handful of real spices, offer the taste of tradition without the chemical additives. In the world of packaged meats, hot dogs are a masterclass in turning low-value scraps into something that looks and tastes familiar. But the cost comes in the form of heavy processing and a chemistry set's worth of extras. Packaged bacon from major American brands claims the top spot for health risk among processed meats. Ingredient lists reveal the pattern. Nearly all feature water, salt, and sodium nitrite as core components. Sodium nitrite preserves bacon's pink color and flavor, but introduces a chemical hazard that extends far beyond taste. Federal regulations allow up to 120 parts per million of nitrite in supermarket bacon, levels set for preservation, not safety. Even products labeled no nitrites added rely on celery powder or juice, which supplies natural nitrate that converts to nitrite during curing. The chemistry remains unchanged regardless of the source. Labels promising natural or uncured often include a small print disclaimer, except those naturally occurring in celery powder. Cooking bacon transforms it further. When nitrite meets high heat and fat in a frying pan, nitrosamines form, compounds recognized for decades as potent carcinogens. Crisping bacon produces the highest levels. Even with modern attempts to limit nitrosamines using ascorbate, fried bacon still contains measurable amounts. The International Agency for Research on Cancer lists processed meats, including bacon, as Group 1 carcinogens, confirming a direct link to cancer in humans. Regular consumption raises colorectal cancer risk, and large studies tie processed bacon to increased heart disease and overall mortality. Sodium content is another concern. 2 slices of packaged bacon deliver 350 to 400 milligrams of sodium, with some brands even higher. Added sugar, often as dextrose or corn syrup, boosts flavor without nutritional benefit. Artificial smoke flavoring, common in mass-market bacon, mimics traditional smoking but relies on chemical additives. The result is a product engineered for shelf life and taste, not health. Warning signs on packaging include the phrases "cured with sodium nitrite," "smoke flavoring added," and "no nitrites added except those naturally occurring in celery powder." Even natural options often match conventional bacon in nitrite content and cancer risk. The safest approach is to choose fresh pork belly or uncured pork, cooking it without added curing agents. If bacon remains a staple, use it sparingly and avoid frying to a crisp. With its blend of curing chemicals, sodium, fat, and strong cancer evidence, packaged bacon stands as the packaged meat most important to avoid. Across all 6 entries, one truth stands out. Convenience in packaged meats means trading real ingredients for chemicals, fillers, and health risks. The industry's reliance on ultra-processing is not accidental. It is the business model. As these products fill shelves, our daily choices shape long-term health. Choose carefully.